We'll get Commissioner Sports started. And we have a full complement of commissioners and good crowd here. Everybody please rise to the pledge of allegiance, followed by the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Williams, please lead us in prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have granted us. Father, be with us as we do the business of Mills County. Guide us and direct us through this agenda. Father, be with us as we go through this week. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Commissioners review and act on minutes of December 16th, 2024.
Noticing nothing that I see wrong, make a motion that we approve the minutes for December the 16th, 2024.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the minutes, December 16th, the second by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes of December 16th, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 3, audience individuals. Gee, I know we got audience with several individuals, but I think it's gonna be pertaining to things on our agenda right now. Is there anyone else that be checked the list?
I didn't have any sheets turned into me.
Okay, all right, so these are all gonna be tied in with what we're doing today. Okay, number 4, review and act on accounts payables. Oh, we don't have any. We did all that Thursday.
Right.
And nothing else has been brought to my attention. All accounts payables were taken care of on our meeting we had last Thursday. So now down to the consent agenda. Commissioners, there's several things in the consent agenda. I was gonna add a few things for your information. One, there's a new report on our consent agenda from the Emergency Management Coordinator. It's a quarterly report. David Shaw, our EMC, came by my office and said, I can do this quarterly. I think it's very good to have this in here, showing all the things he's doing. So that's gonna be a new quarterly report that we're gonna start having. One thing I'll bring your attention to, the septic tank permits, for the year was 31 new septic tank permits, which mainly, that's all, as you know, new home construction. So there's 31 new homes that were done in 2024 in Mills County. And regarding facilities report, Louis Coronado came by my office this week, and I've told Louis we need to get going this handicap entrance for the 1880 at the jail, which he's gonna try to get some information to us, hopefully this week or next week, to me and facilities manager Guy Burks. So that's all things I'll make a note on in the consent agenda.
Being that this is the first time we're reading this emergency management coordinator report, is there one item that we need to be looking at that, Mr. Shaw? That we really need to look at on that, or
Talk about the new emergency management coordinator quarterly report.
No, sir, I just wrote those, put those together, just basic activities, taskings that are going on. Then I divided by functional area or mission areas, so that you can kind of see how much time is spent in the different areas. And then I just kind of, oh, that back is kind of a little summary, just kind of breaks out. Just kind of give you,
just seeing that we haven't taken order. I make a motion that we accept the consent agendas as reported.
Okay. Motion's been made to accept the consent agenda as presented. Second's been made by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Action agenda, consider and act on the applicants for Mills County Historical Commission. Commissioners, January 2023, you probably did this the last time. You have to do it every 2 years. This is from the Texas Historical Commission. I'll read this. It's just a brief little statement. So the CHC, which is County Historical Commission appointments, are professional commitments to represent the county's interest in preserving historic and cultural heritage. Chapter 318 of the Texas Local Government Code directs County Commissioners Court to make these appointments in January of odd number of years for a 2-year term. So the appointees for 2025, 2026 are, I'll read these all at one time and not going to give their designations, but Lynetta Barnett, Gerald Hill, Joy Now, J.C. Mason, J. Don Barnett, Keith Brooks, Diane Phillips, Sam Duncan, Ramona Flores, J.C. Mason, Jan Moreland, Steve Mason, and Ronnie Wilson. And of course, as y'all know, we meet in the 1888 jail every month at least. So if there's not any questions, I will make a motion that we approve the appointment for the Mills County Historical Commission with the names I've just read.
Second.
I made a motion, second by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor of approving the applicants for the Mills County Historical Commission, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 6, consider an act on approving surety bond continuation certificate for Lori King. So this is a term bond to the state, and it's done every 4 years for Miss Lori King. And I don't know, there's too much more to add to this. So we have to do this in court, and I will make a motion that we approve this surety bond continuation certificate for Lori King.
Second.
I made motion second by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the surety bond for Lori King, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Number 7, consider an act on approving the surety bonds for Dale Porton, Julie Fincher, Lori King, Craig Sullivan, and Bill Malone. So same deal, we do these surety bonds for all the elected officials and workers and whatnot. So I'll make a motion, we approve these surety bonds for the named individuals I just listed. Whatever.
Craig's got us. Craig.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if he needs to abstain or not. That'd be Bill Malone is a person that's,
I had to. So.
did you abstain last time you did yours, or do you remember?
Yeah, y'all told me I had to.
Okay. The question was, one that's been including this deal will probably have to abstain, which would be Craig Sullivan and Dale Porton, I presume. Okay? Wouldn't hurt. Okay. So, I'll make a motion. We approve the surety bonds for Dale Porton, Julie Fincher, Lori King, Craig Sullivan, and Bill Malone.
Now, second.
And a second's been made by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor of the mentioned names, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, and we got 2 abstaining that were included. So 3 in favor and 2 abstaining, Julie. Okay. Number 8, considering act on emergency management coordinator moving into an office space in the EMS building. David, you might want to come up here in case there's any questions. So Commissioners, way back a month and a half ago, we were talking about possibly doing this, and Commissioner Williams. You know. So this office, we're talking about it, and I know David doesn't have any problems either way on this deal. Commissioner Williams had brought up, is it okay if EMC, Emergency Management Coordinator, office is set up in the EMS building? And I did talk to the Hamilton EMS folks. They said there's no problem. They would cover whatever electricity, small amount of electricity or internet service there would be. Now, I know there may be some not feel the same way, and that's why we're here to discuss and act on this. Mr. Shaw, as you know, has been helping us with a lot of FEMA work, and he's been doing several things for Mills County as EMC, and he's worked out the mural room some when it's available. And the proposal was possibly to go out there some. David, that missing thing, or you want to add anything to it?
No, sir, I think that's a good summary. As you mentioned, it was brought up among some of the commissioners, and as we've talked more, I believe it's a wise decision. I say wise decision back at court to find a location where we can operate the emergency management functions of the county. I don't necessarily need an office space per se. I'm fine working the way I work. But I think from the county's perspective, being able to assemble all the documentation, bring all the emergency operations plans, bring all the equipment and stuff into one location like the trailer that we have in the precinct, I think assembling all that in one location will be function out of is wise. Emergency management, we want to be able to assemble those stakeholders and our county and local partners together at times. It keeps us from overwhelming the sheriff's office in most cases, if we need that space. It's good, it's a space that's large enough where we could have meetings, we could do training in there, and Commissioner Head asked, what kind of training do we do? Well, we do all kinds of training in emergency management, and it's one of the things that we haven't been able to do much in those counties, a lot of the local training. We can train our local staff, our local employees, our school districts, and being able to have all those materials in one location with the projector. I used to do that. It's really neat. So I'm all for it if that's what you choose to do, and I'll stock it and I'll manage that for you, and I'll try to do what I can to acquire new equipment and materials to function for you guys. But again, I have no stake in the game. I'll go either way. But I think it's a good idea.
And I will add that building, the EMS building, that office we're talking about is pretty well currently vacant. It's on the south end of the EMS building.
And Hamilton is.
Hamilton EMS is A-OK. Yes, I talked to Patrick Cobb. He says,
Electricity.
he says fine. Yes, sir. I talked to him, got confirmation from him.
That was my only concern.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got at least to whatever, so.
Yeah, I did reach out to him, yes.
So a lot of the process.
I got calls to that. Yeah.
Not this year, anyway.
Yeah. Commissioner comments, I personally didn't have any problem, again, doing this, but again, we'll discuss this, take a vote on it and everything. Again, and Mr. Shaw, as he stated, he's not gonna be in there all the time either, and it's for the EMC, it's not his personal office, it's for the emergency management coordinators office.
Just a function, just for the office to have a place to function out of. Yeah.
That's my concern, not that we don't need an office or anything else. That's not the way we set it up for this year.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. I just don't, I mean, if it's not gonna cost us anything for him to start setting that up.
There has to be some cost
I mean,
associated.
There's gonna be costs. I mean, you talk about supplies and everything else, and there's gonna be costs. Where's that coming from?
Well, he's not asking for that, though.
Are there any costs associated, David, if you?
I mean, he's asking for just the room and the space.
But, well, I mean, he said, we talked about setting it up and everything else. I mean,
So.
there's gonna be a cost to set it up.
So most of the way we do things in emergency management, when it's available, we try to get secure any type of grant funding that's available. And so, for instance, the call offers various types of grant funding. So in Mills County's case, I asked for certain things that I knew we needed. And so like for this projector, for instance, so I asked for that projector. I asked for a screen. I asked for certain things, first aid kits, stop the bleed kits. Those are things that I can get for the county that don't cost the county any money, but it allows us to function, so to speak. So everything I do, I'm going to try to get it for free. You talk about printers and paper and all that kind of stuff. Normally if I have to print something, I print it at my own location. I don't need to have a printer, and the sheriff's office did provide that computer, which was a smart move on the county's part. That's where all your documentations, you own them, they're on your computer. But I don't really see a big expense right now, just really a place to bring stuff. Like I have some 10 by 10 canopies that I acquired for you guys. So like if we're out on an emergency, we're working a wildland fire and we need a place for the guys to get into the shade and have coolers and get stuff, we have those canopies. So we can go grab those, go set them up, but we need a place to stick them. I mean, they're not really functional in my barn. They're better in a place where you can get to them. Coolers, stuff like that is what I'm really talking about. The trailer, just assembling that material so it's all in one location. Maybe what we could do is put a different type of lock on that door down the road where everybody has the combination. So if you needed to go over there and grab something, you just go grab it, it's there. Kind of my role would be to try to get, water, cases of water, things that you might need in our business and put them there. And that's really, I think, what the judge and commissioner were talking about. It's a good place to put stuff that you guys can use down the road.
And if y'all recall, the sheriff Poole at that time, Deputy Sheriff Poole now, said that there is money in the emergency coordinator's position under their line item. So there is a little bit of money that's available for some of that stuff to use, so.
But for this budget cycle, did we or did we not contract?
Right.
We did, just the contract pay is all that was discussed on the budget. You're exactly correct. And of course, he has been coming in and using the mural room quite a bit too, and working with Summer, of course, on the FEMA.
Storage spot, I don't have any problem with it, but I just really feel like we're gonna have to wait till September to set up a work office. Like budget part.
Well, again, as Mr. Joel stated, there's really not gonna be any money costing the county for this office, correct?
But does this one way or another? And somebody tell me, does this make David an employee of the county?
I wouldn't think so, it's a contract basis.
You're gonna,
But
if
but
you're
that-
buying an office space,
Well, let me say, if I don't use that space as an office, I don't need to be in there in an office capacity. But if you just designated the space where we could store stuff for the business of emergency management in Mills County, that would be a way we store stuff there. I don't need to go into an office. Yeah.
David, could you hold off till we start talking about this budget cycle again for
Well,
May or June?
I'm in no hurry at all. I was really just trying to accommodate the conversation and the discussion. If it was something you wanted to do, I was gonna help you do that. For sure. I don't have any skin in the game, to be honest with you. But I think it's a good.
Storage purposes, can we use it?
I don't see why it couldn't use some storage purposes. Yeah.
I make a motion that the emergency management coordinator use the, room at the EMS building on the south end as storage purposes.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Williams for the EMC director to use the EMS building for storage. I will second that. Anything else, Commissioners? No discussion? All those in favor of approving the office space for storage, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. David, thank you, sir. Yes. All right, number 9, consider an act on interlocal agreement, which HC, did I skip something? No, that's next. Consider an act on interlocal agreement, which HCTD, that's Hill Country Transit District. Commissioners, I'll read this real quick. So this is regarding the Hill Country Transit District. We've been in that transit district for many years. We're in the process of moving to the Central Texas Rural Transit District, also known as CARS, on before March 1st. Hill Country Transit needs this interlocal agreement. For the record, let me read this real quick. This agreement is with Hill Country Transit District in Mills County, pursuant to provisions of Interlocal Corporation Act, Texas Government Code 791.001. Whereas Mills County is a political subdivision under the laws of the state of Texas, and whereas the HCTD is a political subdivision under the laws of the state of Texas, whereas the HCTD Board of Directors approved a resolution on June 13, 2024, directing the general manager to proceed with restructuring activities to transition 5 counties from the existing district. Whereas Mills County will be joining the Central Texas Rural Transit District, also known as CARS, on or before March 1st, 2025. And Central Texas Rural Transit District has passed a resolution to accept Mills County as a member of the Rural Transit District. Whereas existing fleet operating Mills County shall be transferred to Central Texas Rural Transit, additional fleet identified by HCTD and CARS has been inspected and accepted by CARS. A list of the fleets to be transferred is attached on attachment A. Vehicles will be physically transferred to CARS on date to be agreed upon by the parties. TxDOT will facilitate the legal transfer and ownership of the receiving RTD. And whereas Mills County will cease membership in ACTD and will relinquish its board seat, which is me, ceasing all rights to membership to Hill Country Transit on or before March 1st, 2025. And whereas this agreement is made under the authority of the Interlocal Corporation Act of 1971, whereas the government body, the local government, HCTD, have authorized the undersigned representative to enter into this agreement. Therefore, for in consideration of the mutual promises and covenants contained in this agreement, it is agreed that this should be effective upon execution of our local government, our commissioners court and HCTD. So, commissioners, I've not heard anything else on this transfer. Again, as I stated, it's on or before March 1st. It's going to be a win-win for Mills County. It's going to be a better transportation district for all our folks in Mills County. And the process is a long process, but we're getting closer. So,
We're getting we're keeping we're transferring the two vehicles that we have now.
so the vehicles you see, 2015 and 2017, which are very old, the 2015 is one, it's my understanding that Mr. Knapp is using to transport our local people only in county. If you remember, they put going out of county medical trips for us. The 2017 has been broken down for 6 or 8 months, and it's a vehicle we share with Sunset. Now, I hadn't checked lately on the status of that building. Most of these buses that are transferring to the Central Texas District from Hamilton, Sinclair, and Mills County are 10 years old. So anyway, hopefully next month I'll have a more,
And so they're giving us 2 more?
no, but this is, well, that may be, I don't know if that's another county or what. But we only have one in Mills County and one that's broken down to Sheriff's and South. Now, this could be a,
Additional fleet to be transferred,
yeah,
so that's 2 more vehicles.
well, that may be referring to Cincinnati and Hamilton. But we just have one currently operating in Mills County. And again, the new buses, the general manager, J.R. Salazar, told me they never keep buses more than 4 or 5 years of age. So that's the report. I have any other questions on that? Well, I'll make a motion then that we approve the interlocal agreement with HCTD.
Sir.
I made a motion, second by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the interlocal agreement with the Hill Country Transit, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 10, discussion of the MCAD budget surplus. Miss Lori, Miss Hannah, y'all mind coming up here? This is Lori Friedrich, who's been the interim chief appraiser, and this is Hannah Bradley, who's going to be the new chief appraiser once she gets all her certifications here. So I'll prep this a little bit. Y'all tell me if I miss anything. So every year you'll have an audit. MCAD does, and that's when you find out if there's any deficit or surplus. And through the years, it's been my understanding that sometimes the county has let you keep the surplus and sometimes you send it back. And I believe this year you had, I'll find my numbers again. Is it a $38,000 surplus? So, which would be coming back to the entities, which is the 3 schools in Mills County. And the county's portion of that figure will be $13,424.85, which $11,352.02 to the general fund and $2,072.83 for road and bridge. Okay, and I will turn things over to y'all, and y'all go ahead and start off with the commissioners who have some questions for you.
This is just, we're required to turn over any excess funds back to the entities, those that participate in our budget. unless there is something that comes up that we may want to keep the funds. And then what would happen is we would come to each of the entities, explain what we want to do with it, and get approval to keep those funds. That didn't happen this year. Once the audit was prepared and approved by our board, and we issued those refund checks.
And I know the commissioners has an interest in employments. You got a chief, maybe not a chief, but assistant chief appraiser, ag appraiser, is what I'm trying to say.
We currently have an opening
Opening
for
for
an ag appraiser. We are budgeted for 25 to have that ag appraiser. We had two really great candidates that both of them declined the offer. So we're basically back to the drawing board. So if anyone knows anyone that would be interested in that position, we'd be happy to talk with them. But yes, we are fully funded. Hannibal had her certification this summer, and hopefully very quickly we can get an ag appraiser hired and trained, and we'll be fully staffed.
And I know one question, I'll start off from the court. So you got appraisal, consultant, and engineering, which is originally at 59,900, roughly 60,000, but it went up to 100,000. And I guess that's because you thought you hired a chief interim, and then it fell through and you had to get more consulting work on that matter.
So in 23, that budgeted line item was combined for our professional appraisal contracts and any consulting that may be required. So the reason that it's so over budget is because they paid for chief appraiser starting in 23, what it budgeted.
Okay.
So even though we have an excess in salaries, that particular line item looks as if it was way over budget. If that makes sense. So we didn't spend instead of paying, we paid for interim chief appraiser services. That's not credited or posted each month to salaries. Because it's, the contract chief appraiser is not an employee. You don't have your insurance, retirement, your taxes, any of that. It's posted to the engineering and consulting.
But for 2 years now, at least 2 years now, there's been a chief appraiser budgeted and an ag appraiser budgeted because contract has been used.
Right. That's correct.
So where are the funds? That's not in $38,000.
Yes, sir, that's where that comes from. You also have to take into account where it appears we went over budget on the consulting and engineering line item. That's because it was not budgeted for an interim chief appraiser. So we didn't spend as much money in salaries, and we spent more money in consulting and engineering fees.
The 59 went to 100,000.
Yes, sir.
And because of this, I'm not picking on you.
Sure.
Because of your position here locally.
That and our professional appraisal contracts increased, both of them increased, yes, sir.
But the chief appraiser salary and an ag appraiser salary should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000.
For probably close to that for 23.
Okay.
Probably close to that.
So the money for those positions just transferred over to pay the other costs?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So once you find this ag appraiser, your firm will be fully staffed.
We will be fully staffed.
So, and you're back to square one, you're still,
Yes,
I know it's hard to find those.
yes, sir.
And another thing I've seen in this, the appraisal district, they have like $100,000 a CD.
Yes, sir. We're required to keep that for contingency.
That's a statute.
That's been the case for at least the last 2 years.
Yes, just about.
Both years, the money for the position that was to be filled over here, she had one of them now. But for 2 years, the money, the position we're supposed to pay here was paid to the company in Abilene, basically.
Yes, sir.
Because of lack of people here.
Yes.
Commissioners have questions for? That's all I got. That's all I got. Well, ladies, thank you for coming. We'll keep working with you and everything, and hope you'll find that ag appraiser soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, number 11, discussion of the Hoop and Horn subdivision. Marcus, you want to pop up here? Yes, sir. So what is going on, folks? I didn't talk to Marcus last week. I talked to several other people. I talked to the engineer, talked to the surveyor, talked to Don King. So, and Marcus, you can probably explain things better, but what is going on right now is there's some title work issues relating to County Road 19. Commissioner Parton, there, that's one that was some kind of transaction occurred 15 or 20 years ago, a while back. And I think what had happened that was that, Mr. King had said you need to get some title company, maybe Hale Title, whoever that kind of knows what's going on, to look into them. So that's my understanding. Marcus, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Last week they were, I believe it was Mills County Abstract was able to pull those records.
Okay.
I got them over to my surveyor and they updated it and sent it back to Mr. King.
Okay. Okay. So that's kind of one of the big issues right now. Also, he said the perimeter fence, the high fence is not the boundary too. So it's something to do with that too also. So, but all parties are working well together. I'll say that. Mr. King's been talking to the surveyor, talking to engineers, and I guess talking to Mr. Marcus too. So anything else you need to add or anything to this?
The last part that you mentioned, something about, where the fence is,
Well, that, high fence, where the fence is, apparently one of y'all's, flats you had was gonna be the boundary. And he said that is not the boundary fence on it. But anyway, he had some notes. I talked to him about it. I'd recommend your engineer or surveyor reach out to him. But the main issue is that County Road 19. And again, this is a road that was done maybe 20 years ago. And there's some title issues, and the only way to get this cleared up is go through a title company to get it done.
yes, sir.
If you look at y'all, the first plat, now, I don't know about the second one, but the high fence, my understanding, and this was way before my time, that Don Wilson, one of the original owners, bought another place. Well, there was a dirt road, which may have been County Road 190, I don't know. They ran through the center of that thing. You can still see where it's at. Well, Mr. Wilson, or King, Mr. Wilson, bought that land and he contacted the county about donating land at the edge of that property for where 190 is now and closing that road off. Well, that was all done. Everybody thought the high fence was the edge of it. There's still some Hoop and Horns land on the other side of that dirt road.
Yeah.
It don't stop at the high fence. There's still a little portion. And in the one plat, they had it split up into lots too.
I also got an email from a surveyor or engineer, whoever it was, requiring the minutes that have gone on in Mills County. And I talked to the clerk's office, and our minutes go back to, I think, 2022. And they want to know about minutes from maybe 10 or 15 years ago, which I sent back. You're just going to come back to the clerk's office, go through those records.
Yes, sir. They were able to do that. Actually, Mills County Abstract had all that
Okay.
information.
Okay,
So again, we had got it back to Mr. King and,
okay,
from what I understand, that they were able to satisfy, Mr. King.
okay. Well, good deal. Well, we'll keep working on this, Marcus, and call me when you have anything. Anything else you need to add to the court, or?
Yeah, I feel as though we, when we first submitted the latest plat, and Mr. King had his comments, I'm under the impression that we've satisfied all those points that he made. And I was hoping that it'd go for a vote.
Well, no, he's told me it has not satisfied it due to the title work and everything. There's still a couple of issues. So it's not ready for a vote yet. We're going to what Don King recommends. He's a surveyor, been doing it for 45 years or so. So we can't take it for a vote right now if there's still issues relating to the preliminary plat.
We
Is
could
that-
vote on it today, we only put it in discussion.
Yeah, it's under discussion anyway. But there's,
If you want to.
even if we had, considering that, there's still issues on the title work that he's got to get cleared up before he approves the preliminary plat.
Yeah, he had, just to me, had mentioned that, in passing that there might be a discrepancy with text dot or, as you had mentioned, but, we got nothing that says like, hey, here's the exact problem, or here's the issue. It was just that there might be an issue.
But one time, y'all hadn't reached out to TxDOT as far as the road access agreement. You got to go through TxDOT. And I don't know if that's been rectified yet or not.
Yes, sir, we've got.
So it's taken care of. Okay.
We'll approve.
Okay. Well, the main deal is that title work. And again, I know he's talking to your surveyor and your engineers. So again, there's nothing we can do. And as Commissioner Williams said, we just had a discussion on Hoop and Horn subdivision, which is good. We welcome any time to keep us up to date on what's going on.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Marcus, thanks for coming. Have a good day. Okay. Number 12, recessing to executive session regarding issues relating to extending the tower lease agreement for the law enforcement center radio system. So according to executive session, the Commissioners Court may retire to executive session for the purpose of deliberating business authorized by the Texas Government Code Section 551.00. So I will make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss the tower agreements. Do I hear a second on this going to executive session?
Are you gonna invite anybody in?
Yes, I was gonna do that after we approve this.
Put it in your motion.
Okay, well, I'll rephrase my motion to go in executive session. I would like to call all the Commissioners Court in: David Shaw, Bill Malone, Jamie Wigley, Sheriff Jones, Melissa Womack, and Chief Deputy Poole into executive session. I made a motion. I think Commissioner Head made the second, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor of going to executive session, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we will go in executive session. The time is 9:32. No, excuse me, I didn't read my watch wrong. It's 9:37. 9:37. So we'll be in recess for probably 15-20 minutes. Okay. I'm unmuting, Annette, I guess we're rolling. So we are back in regular commissioner session. The time is 10:11 a.m. We've concluded our executive session, Commissioner Court. And I will make a motion that we table the issues relating to extending the tower lease agreement for law enforcement radio system.
Second.
So motion been made to table, second by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor of tabling number 12 about the tower lease agreement, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So the tower lease agreement has been tabled for a later date. And we've reconvened in public session. And now, number 14, consider an act, no, we already did that.
13.
Okay, we tabled that, that's number 14.
Yeah.
We tabled, number 14 about the tower lease agreement. So now, we're number 15, Commissioners' requests and reports, and Commissioner Sullivan started off, sir.
Well, we're working on County Road 411 on the Tech Dot deal, and I am getting ready to go to A&M for seminar this week, so that's what we're doing. We're just working on Tech Dot project.
Good deal. Okay, Commissioner Head.
Well, we did some spot hauling on County Road 332. We had some spots that kind of turned out pretty rough and bad. And spot hauled on County Road 323. And we started hauling, we will start hauling today on County Road 312.
Okay. Commissioner Partis.
Just finished up with our next dot project, have contacted next dot and not heard anything back. Definitely get our paperwork going on now. Guys started blazing this morning since we got some sustainable moisture for a little bit. Well, I'm maybe gonna be open there for 30 days or whatever they need. So, about it, just New Year, try to get back at it.
Okay, Commissioner Williams.
Again, kind of like everybody else, working on that, Tech Dot TIP grant, on County Road 430. Out there, out there by Aguado Stone. Hopefully, if the weather would have cooperated last week, but we needed the moisture, we would have brought some stuff last week, but we're hoping to finish up this week.
That's
Knock on-
4:30.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, 4:30. Yeah.
John Valley, Rattler,
It
however you-
looks good. I've done a good job out there. It's been on the last few days.
We got the floor in the trailer, if y'all haven't seen that, in the hall trailer and RGN. Waiting on some clips to get all of those boards fastened down, to come in. Did a little bit of maintenance on the KW on Thursday with the new headlight that kept shorting out, and then, the Durahall trailer, we replaced, the valve over the air brakes that goes to the tank back there for you guys, and, it just kept going out. I showed Robert this morning, it was just full of junk on those screens caught, and that screen's internal, so you can't really take it out. I have received 3 bids, for low water crossings. And in the bid sheet, it says we would open them after Commissioner's Court in the judge's office, so we will be opening those 3 bids down in the judge's office after court's over.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
On that Mac, I took it into the shop. The mechanic thought it was some kind of valve on the back of it as well. Diesel would go in, he replaced it. He said it worked great the first day, and he said the guy out next morning tried to crank it, it wasn't hard to crank again, so he said he's still trying to figure out all the problems.
Okay,
So the Mac is still in the shop.
okay. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, number 16, County Judge's Report, this week's Mills County Stock Show. So everybody support our local youth. I know there's a lot of commissioners will be helping with it. And another cold front, if y'all hadn't heard, is coming in this upcoming weekend. Temperature is supposed to get in the teens. So hopefully we won't have any hard freezes, moisture. And that's all I got. Number 17, adjournment. Did I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion we adjourn.
Commissioner Rod, Commissioner Rod is not here today to usually do that, but Commissioner Head did the motion to adjourn, and the second was done by Commissioner Sullivan. Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.